Hello everyone, welcome back to the course Financial Mathematics for Actuaries. I hope you are doing well. Now that we have already completed whatever related topic we wanted to discuss, so in this week let us now recall all the topics very briefly, although from the loan repayment method to recently we have completed the bond management. So in this week, one by one, let us recall and review. Okay. Okay, then let us review the loan repayment method. The very first topic what I have started with. Okay. So I believe you have already understood what is loan. So no need to again tell you, right? So any loan involve the interest payment as well as the principal, right? So once the loan is taken out, so it is important for anyone to know that how the repayment has been done, okay, or it is important to know how the loan is actually repaid, okay. So we know that we have already understood loans are usually paid back by periodic installment. Most of the time, okay, the loans are usually paid back by a periodic installment, and upon payment of the installment the balance of the loan reduces, okay. But a loan can be a interest only loan, okay, or it can be a repayment loan, right? In case of interest only loan, what we have understood was it like there is a regular payment, okay, only for the interest amount, okay, and the principal amount is not reduced during the loan period. The entire principal is paid back at maturity in one final payment, okay. So in case of interest only loan, recall that the regular payments are made only for the interest amount, okay, and the entire principal is paid back at the maturity in one final payment, okay. We will see it like we have used this type of process in the sinking fund method also, right? Another way was the repayment loan, okay. In case of repayment loan, each regular payment include one part, that is interest, plus another part, that is part of the principal, okay. So the loan balance therefore gradually decrease over the time, and by maturity the entire loan is fully repaid, okay. So it is a kind of amortization, okay, what we have understood. There are two efforts to compute the balance of the loan, okay. One is what, please recall, one is the prospective method and another one is the retrospective method. Yes, right. Fine. So in case of prospective method, which is basically a forward looking measure, okay, prospective method is a forward looking measure. It computes the present value of the future installment required to pay back the loan, okay. So prospective methods take the present value of future installment, right, and the installment amount basically, which is known as A, can be computed as L upon the present value, okay, factor, okay, given N and I, okay. L here being the loan outstanding balance, or loan initial balances, okay. So L divided by A angle N at I, and we know that the present value factor we have computed here, that is A angle N at I is simply 1 minus 1 plus I to the power minus n whole divided by I, or you have already understood this, that, okay. So this is called 1 minus 1 upon 1 plus I to the power n whole divided by I, okay. Also you will call this as present value interest factor for annuity given n year, okay, and I interest rate, right. Once you have understood this, I believe so far like you have already like understood how to compute the installment amount. Okay, please remember this formula is very important. Okay, and the loan balance after nth payment, okay, or after nth installment payment was, okay, denoted as BM is equal to, therefore, A multiplied by A angle N minus M at I. Okay, this is what we have already learned. Okay, the second method is the retrospective method, right? The retrospective method is basically the backward looking method. Okay, so it computes the accumulated value of the installments, okay, that have been paid, and then we will subtract the figure from the subtract this figure from the original loan amount with accumulated interest rate. So we will first, like, compute here what is the accumulated value of the installment amount, and then what is the accumulated interest amount. Okay, so the loan balance therefore can be computed as BM is equal to L1 plus I to the power M minus A S angle M at I. Okay, this is the future value of S angle, right? And we have also, please recall that we have also understood that this prospective method and retrospective method gives us exact similar answer, and therefore these two methods are equivalent. And we have also learned that, okay, by using this formula we can again go back to whatever we have understood in the prospective method. Okay, so I am not rewriting it again here, but those note that these two method will give us equivalent, okay, or equal answer. Okay, so these two methods are equal. Okay, so again recall that what is loan amortization. Okay, loan amortization is a process of repaying a loan through regular installment, okay, that include the interest and the amount borrowed, right? For example, okay, the loan you have taken for home, or home loan, auto loan, personal loan, or any kind of loan, okay, in that matter, okay, if you have taken, then the repayment method is most likely, okay, is actually on the basis of the loan amortization. Okay, and therefore you need to understand what is the loan amortization schedule. Okay, and having this, okay, knowing this loan amortization schedule, if you want to submit or you want to repay the full amount in a given point in time, then you can able to identify or able to calculate what is the total loan balances, okay, and therefore you can able to repay that and close your loan account, right? So at the beginning, okay, at the beginning, a larger share of each payment goes towards the interest due, okay, while a smaller portion goes towards the balance reduction. Okay, so we have also understood in the loan amortization that in the initially a large share will go toward the interest payment, okay, while a small shares will go toward the like balance reduction. But as time passes, okay, so over the time it like the process actually will reverse gradually. Okay, so initially it will start large share of payment goes toward the interest, but later on a smaller shares will go toward the interest and the larger shares will go towards the balance reduction. Okay, and finally the balance will be 0. Okay, an amortized schedule provides a clear breakdown of how every payment is divided between interest, okay, and principal across the term of the loan. That is the reason we wanted to learn the amortization schedule. Okay, so it will actually clearly give a breakdown, okay, of how the every payment is actually divided between the interest payment and the principal across the term of our loan. Okay, so let us recall how to construct the amortization schedule. Recall that we have already understood or we have already learned how to construct the amortization schedule, okay, for a given loan amount, okay, with certain interest rate or the effective interest rate. If you remember, we have already understand, okay, or we have already constructed one loan amortization schedule for a problem, okay, of like $5,000, okay, to be repaid over 6 years with a 6 payment annuity at effective rate of interest of 6% per year. Okay, now we need to compute the amortization schedule, for which we first compute the installment amount, and then we want to know how much from this installment amount goes towards the interest due and how much will go towards the principal reduction, okay, or like, and therefore what is the outstanding balances after this payment. Okay, so to compute the first installment, we have to use the formula, that is L by A angle NHI, okay, with n is equal to 6, okay, and I is equal to 0.06. Okay, so with this we can have 5000 divided by 4.9173. How do you get this value? We have used this formula. Okay, this formula is what? If you recall, the formula is 1 minus 1 plus I to the power minus n whole divided by I. Okay, so here if you like compute it, you will get, after taking this 4 point, okay, like, or like 4 number after the decimal, we will have 4.9173, okay, and then we can simply upon division we will have 1016.81. Okay, so this is the installment amount, that is 1016.81. Okay, and from this how much will go towards the interest amount and how much will go towards the principal reduction then. Okay, so for the first payment, okay, that will go towards the interest, okay, will actually 6% of our initial loan or the initial balance, that is 5000 multiplied by 0.06, which will be 300. So from this 300 will go toward the interest payment, and therefore rest of the amount will go towards the principal reduction, that is 716.81. Okay, and therefore the outstanding balances at the end of the first year will become, okay, 4283.19. Okay, that is just this 5000 minus 716.81. Okay, for the second year, okay, you need to again compute the installment. That installment is same, because every time you want to have the same level of payment. Okay, so interest incurred in the second period is like 6% of this. Okay, you will compute the 6% of this one. Okay, this multiplied by 0.06, then we will have 256.99 or 99. Okay, this much amount will go towards the interest payment, and then the rest of the amount will go towards the principal reduction. Okay, if you will take the same way, then you can compute our this table. We have already understood how to compute, like we have already used this table. Remember, we have constructed, this is the initial payment using L upon A angle NHI, and then this is the interest rate time the initial amount, that the 6% multiplied by 5000 will be 300, and then this minus this will give us this value. Okay, and then this minus this, okay, right, this minus this will give us, right, 4283. Similarly, we will have second. Okay, every time the installment amount is same. Okay, and then 6% of this 4283 is this one, this we have already computed, and then this minus this, okay, like 1016.81 minus 256.99 is equal to 759.82. okay, and then okay, from this minus, okay, this 759.82 will be this one. So in the same way you have to compute other values also. Okay, I must tell you that I have of late realized that this value initially, when we have introduced this table in the first time, I have committed one simple error. So this 7 was actually mistyped, it was missed. So I am so sorry for that. If you have like remember, then like please correct it there, that this should be 2717.96. okay, and then like rest of the things are same. okay, so what we have understood here is that okay, initially okay, the higher amount will go towards the interest payment, and slowly okay, so gradually the payment towards interest is actually less. But the initially here in this case principal payment, okay, initially a smaller amount will go towards the principal reduction, but gradually a higher amount will go towards the principal reduction, right? And therefore at the end the total outstanding balance will be 0. okay, this is how the loan amortization schedule is very important for us. okay. Okay, so what is the sinking fund method? Remember, we have also understood what like what is sinking fund method. This is also one of another way you can repay the loan, right? In the sinking fund method, okay, this is the sinking fund method is basically a like loan repayment method that involves two-part payments. okay, right? There is a portion that serves the interest calculated on the original principal, and another portion is deposited into a sinking fund that accumulates with interest to redeem the principal. okay, and the interest credited to the sinking fund may be different from the interest charged to the loan, but we have understood, we have already done it. okay, with the like when the interest of the sinking fund and the interest of the your loan is actually same, and then it also differ. okay, both the cases we have understood, but here we will only take one case and then like recall whatever we have learned. okay, so if the interest credited to the sinking fund is the same as the interest charged on the principal, the total installment in the two methods are exactly same, right? okay, so sinking fund method is another loan repayment method in which okay, it just look like the interest only method. okay, so there is a portion that serves the interest calculated on the original principal, and there is another portion okay, is deposited into a sinking fund so that you can earn some interest. okay, and then at the final payment you will pay, you can able to pay the full like initial loan balance. okay, and complete the loan, right? Let us understand this. okay, we have already done it, but we will just recall whatever we have learned. okay, so consider this example again, the same example we have taken. okay, for a loan of rupees 5,000 by a 6 payment annuity with 6% interest rate, we have computed interest payment. okay, interest payment as we have already computed as 300, and the installment also we have computed as like 1016.81. okay, now the sinking fund deposit can be computed as L upon S angle N at I. okay, so this 5,000 okay, divided by S angle N at I, which will become okay, 716.19. So S angle N at I is what? This is the future value factor of the annuity, right? okay, and then you can take this formula to compute the sinking fund deposit. okay, So at the end of 2 years, the sinking fund generates interest of what? End of the 2 year, the sinking fund generates the interest of this, okay, 6% of 716.8. Similarly, using this method, we have understood to compute this table, right? Okay. So now look at this table here, that okay, this is the installment amount what we have already computed, but now every time you are making a similar interest payment, so every time 300 rupees you are paying, and is like a constant amount you are depositing each year, so that you can able to earn some interest. So that amount is 716.81, okay, out of which you can earn some interest, so that your total amount will be actually goes towards the initial payment, right? So you are only regularly paying the interest amount, but at the last, okay, at the end of the 5th or 6th year, you have to pay the principal amount, that is 5,000, and therefore you need to deposit some amount to like into an account, okay, which will actually give us some interest. That is the like whole fundamental for sinking fund. Okay, so initially, okay, your deposit will earn the sinking fund interest rate, okay, or interest amount of 43.01, okay, after the second payment, and therefore the sinking fund balance is 1476.63, right? So this one plus this one, right? So remember, okay, this is the initial balance, this one plus this one, plus like 716.81 plus 716.81 plus 43.01 will become this, right? And then for like after the third payment, okay, you are getting the interest rate, that is 6% of this amount, okay, 6% of 1476.63 will become, okay, 88.60, right? And then therefore this like you can add it, you will get 2282.01, and then finally you will earn, okay, a 5,000, that is the initial loan balances, okay. So this is the loan balances you wanted to get this. In this case, however, I is equal to j, okay, that means the interest rate charge on the sinking fund is same as the interest rate charge on the loan, okay. Now look at here, how much amount you have paid? You have paid 6,100.86, okay, out of which like or like this is the installment, but rather than this, okay, like you have here the interest amount you have paid is 1,800, and then you have deposited a in a sinking fund, so that you can earn 6% of interest rate, okay, which will become totaling to 4,300.86, okay, and this two will gives us this value, okay, it should be right, okay, and also this value and this value, okay, it should give you this value, right? So 4,300.86 plus 699.14 should be 5,000, okay, or here we will have a 1,800, okay, plus 4,300.86 is equal to 6,100.86, okay. So we have now understood, okay, completely, and we have also recalled everything what we have learned, okay, in the 7th week, okay. In my portion, we have started with learning the loan repayment method, in which we have understood how to compute the loan balances, okay, using the prospective method and the retrospective method. And we have also learned, okay, how to compute the EMI, okay, installment amount, and we also understood how to construct the loan amortization schedule and a sinking fund schedule. Okay, I believe this will help you to in fact recall whatever we have learned in the 7th week. Okay, so we'll stop here. We will meet in the next session to discuss, okay, about the bond basics and bond pricing.